You're right, everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Aberdeen save. The season is over and now I've actually had time to calm down and look at it objectively. It's been a good year. If you were on the stream, though, you will know that I was very, very angry. Let's show you why, shall we? So like I say, on the face of it and in hindsight, it's a great season. We've beaten our record points total again last year. We beat it with 77. We've got 80 this year. Second place in the league, plus 51 goal difference. So performed really, really well. Finished above Rangers. We have got the Champions League qualification playoff thing. So hopefully we can get into the Champions League, basically, and give us a load of money. There were a couple of things, though, that were very, very frustrating. And let's have a look at those now, shall we? So this is where we were at on yesterday's video. We'd got to the break-off point, the split of the season, and we're in a really good position. We then had Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final, and we had a really good performance. 1-0 win, a tight win, but a headed goal from Declan Gallagher from a corner. It was a really, a really good game. We were pretty much in control. Things were going really, really well. I thought, we're clicking now. Scottish Cup final. We could have double silverware this year. This is going to be great. Rangers won their semi. We've had an all right record against them so far this year. So, first game after the split. Dundee, 2-1. We went 2-0 up just on the stroke of half-time. They got one back in the second half. And they looked comfortable in terms of the match stats, but every time they were attacking, we looked vulnerable. Then we had our game against St Johnstone that ended 0-0. Again, at home, we did nothing. Absolutely nothing in the first half of this game. Came back into it a little bit in the second half, and then Lewis Ferguson went and got himself sent off. So that was really frustrating. Really poor performances from a few players there, especially Calvin Ramsey, especially Lewis Ferguson. Ryan Hedges seems to have... Well, he doesn't seem to have down tools. He just doesn't have any tools. I have no idea what to do with Ryan Hedges to get a good performance out of him. I've tried him in numerous roles, in numerous positions. Just can't get him to click. I think maybe his time at the club may be done. But anyway, I digress. Next game. Hibernian, away. 3-0 loss. Some awful, awful performances across the board. Cauley Woodrow at this point, hasn't scored since the Rangers game, I think. Got a brace in the Rangers game. So at this point, it's his fifth game without a goal. He has a really bad game. A lot of our players are just performing really poorly as well. And we just did nothing. There was nothing for us in this game. It was just Hibernian scoring. I think they scored 3 of their 4 shots on target in the game, but we were doing nothing going the other way. A nothing game. My players just weren't bothered, it seemed. I was getting really frustrated and really angry because at this point, ready to take second place off us, and we faced them last game of the season. So I was just really nervous at this point. I really wanted second place. I almost wanted second place more than the cup win because that Champions League money, if we can get into the groups, that money will change the club. So next game, Celtic. A win here. We guarantee second place. We've played really well against Celtic all year. Obviously just knocked them out of the cup. Another 0-0. We've not scored now for 3 games on the bounce. Played better. Didn't create anything really. Again, another game where Cauley Woodrow doesn't score, and another game where he really underperforms. So I'm getting nervous at this point. If we lose to Rangers, they take second place off us because they've won all their games. Final game of the season, Rangers, 0-0 away from home. It was actually a better performance. We played pretty well. We created a couple of chances. We hit the post a couple of times. We arguably should have won the game, but 0-0 solidifies our position. Well, it's the final game of the season. It gives us second place. It gives us the Champions League playoff, and we have that chance. We have the opportunity of getting into the Champions League proper and earning some fat stacks of cash, and that's the most important thing. But final game of the season, the cup final, absolute heartbreaker. So, I mean, I'll take you through the goals now, and then we'll have a little bit of context for some of the other things as well. So, as from the face of it, a really even game. Rangers go 1-up in the first half. It's a really nice finish, to be fair, from Kennedy. I'm fuming that my keeper's not done better, but it's top bins. Second half, we fight back. We managed to get a goal. Cauley Woodrow, not scored for 6 games, gets himself on the score sheet and then puts us up 2-1. 2-1 in the 80th minute. We enter the 90th minute, 2-1 up in the cup final, 4 minutes added time to play. Calvin Ramsey gets himself a red card. We get out of 10 men. Then this happens. Ryan Kent picks it up. For some reason, for whatever reason, Connell follows a run from midfield. I'm gonna rewind this and show this again. Follows a run from midfield that doesn't go beyond our back line. So Kent lays it off. Connell runs beyond our back line, playing on Knezin. That leads to this. 94th minute equaliser. There was literally seconds of injury time to play. Connell runs beyond the defence, plays everyone on side. And then it's penalties. It's a good penalty from Woodrow. Tavernier tucks his away, as is expected. Fletcher tucks his away. And then, massive. Morelos misses inside of the post. Ferguson, awful game. Has his penalty saved. And then, from here, I just don't believe. McCrory tucks his away. But heartbreak is round the corner as Yamelka, actually a really good penalty top corner. He somehow holds on to it to win the penalty shootout for Rangers. And yeah, at this point, I was very, very angry. It's not losing the cup final to Rangers. It could have gone either way. It was actually a really close game, all things considered. We had slightly better XG, but we did have a penalty, so that's to be expected. It was the 91st minute red card from Calvin. It was the complete lack of thinking at all for the equaliser. And then to lose on penalties is just gutting. After gutting it through the extra time with 10 men as well. They did actually have a man sent off in the 103rd minute. But yeah, it was just heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Should have won it. Could have won it. Bottled it. So let's reflect on some of the players' performances. Over the course of the season, we've had some wonderful performances. The issue is, when you look at the last 5 games, a lot of these players who played a lot of football, Ben Woodburn, we've got Reece James, who's played a decent amount, Ogbene, Lewis Ferguson, Ryan Hedges, Cauley Woodrow, all these guys averaging under a 7. So no one's really been turning up for this at least the last 5 games. But I'd say the last 6 or 7 games, really, it's been a bit of a struggle. But, like I say, deep breath, bigger picture, second in the league, some silverware, another cup final, potential Champions League. It's gone really well. Top performer, Calvin Ramsey. I think he was top performer last year. He's done it again. 22 assists from right back as a complete wing back. Really, really good player. He does have Sevilla sniffing around him now. We've managed to talk him into a 17.5 million asking price. So if they come in for him, that is serious rebuild money. Considine has actually stepped up when he's played with a 7.55 average rating. Decky G, 7.43. The rock at the heart of defence. But shout out to Jamelka, who came in January. He's played 19 games, 7.36 average rating. He's been a really good pickup. He's going to be integral to how we play next year. Just really solid all-round defender. He doesn't have too many weaknesses. He doesn't stand out too much in many areas, but you know, he's pretty quick. He's fairly decent in the air. His mental side of the game is pretty good. He's decent without being standout, but he's steady, and I think he's going to be really important for us next year. Obviously, he can cover at left back as well, which is nice. Dan and Lundaloo, top scorer. He's not played for 4 months. Still our top scorer. 17 goals in 24 games. 17 goals from 10.87 XG. The guy is clinical. I have managed to renegotiate the loan. He's back here for another year. Having him back is massive. I think end of the season is a different story altogether if we have him available. I think second in the league is nailed on. We might even challenge for the title with him in the team. We've also obviously got the European game that would have been changed, I think, with him in it. the cup final as well. We missed him massively. He's a very, very good player. Just a handful. Physical. He's a decent finisher. He's got a good work rate. He's big. He's strong. He's what I want in a bustling striker, and we definitely missed out on that. We've got a couple of decent finishers, but no one who just scares defenders, really. Shout out to Jesper Moon and Ronald Hernandez, who played well when they've come in. Ashley Fletcher, actually over the course of the season, bearing in mind he's played most of his games out on that right wing. He's a natural out there now as well, filling in for Dan and Lunderloo. 17 goals in 35 starts, 7.13 average rating. He's right on the XG money as well, so he's had a really decent season. Helbrand's done decent when he's come in. Reece Devine, again, another player who's kind of flattered to deceive the last few games, but over the course of the season, 6 assists. He's played solid. He's been very good. Gunnarsson, really good keeper, especially for this level, but I think he could even probably cut it in the English Premier League. The only thing he's lacking is a little bit of reflexes. We have got some really good coaches, so hopefully he'll step on soon, but really good keeper. Picked up for 85 grand. I didn't even think he was going to get a work permit. Turns out he's our first choice keeper. He's kept an ungodly amount of clean sheets this year. 29 clean sheets in 54 games. Really, really good. And 22 years old, the only way is up for him, really. Solid season from Ross McCrory, basically playing all of his games in the anchorman spot. Holds down the midfield really well, offers good defensive cover. He can progress the ball as well. Just a really decent player. 25 years old. He's going to be here for the foreseeable. He does actually need a new contract. Corley Woodrow as well. Now, 705 average rating. I think his last 5 or 6 games have really tanked that, because before then, he was on fire. He's ended up with 14 goals in 21 starts, 14 goals from 11 XG. That's a really good return in anyone's books, so I'm well happy with him. Lewis Ferguson as well from midfield. Second half of the season hasn't really turned up, but still ended the season with 15 goals, 4 assists in 41. Again, 15 goals from 10 XG. From central midfield, can't really ask for a lot more than that, especially as a ball winner predominantly. A couple of players who have flattered to deceive a little bit. Ben Woodburn, I was hoping for a bit more from him. In his defence, he's played a lot of the season all over the pitch, basically. He's been our backup striker. He's played on the left wing, on the right wing, through the middle, from central midfield. He's very versatile, and he's decent in every position. And maybe that is why he hasn't really kind of stepped on and had a great season. That being said, still got 11 goals from under 10 XG, played 34 games in all competitions, 6.58 in his last 5 games, though. He needs to step it up. But I think next season we might have a bit more of a settled role for him and hopefully get a little bit more out of him. As previously mentioned, though, Ryan Hedges, again, underperformed on the season. Luca Connell, another player who I might kind of let off just due to his age. He's still learning. He's had decent performances without being exceptional. A solid central midfielder. But very disappointed in Ogbene and Adekanye. Both came in with, I had pretty high hopes for him. I thought they'd be really useful wingers in the system. They've just not done anything. 2 worst performers over the league. By halfway through the season, I'd realised these guys weren't the answer. So the likelihood is maybe Hedges and these 2 wingers are all leaving, and we're going to look at a big, wide attacking overhaul in the summer, if we can do it. Speaking of overhauls, we will need funds for that. I have a 1.5 million transfer budget, and I think it works out at about 10 grand available wage budget. We do have a few players whose contracts are up at the end of the season. We're going to look to move Scott Brown into a coaching role. We're going to look to move Considine maybe into a coaching role, potentially a player coach role. So that'll free up a little bit of money. Obviously, the players that leave as well, whatever money we get back in for them will be reinvested and free up some wage budget as well. So it's going to be a fairly busy off-season again. I don't want it to be as busy as last time. We've obviously already got our new centre-back in Gravion coming in. 1 or 2 new forward players would be nice, and maybe a midfielder to strengthen. But other than that, barring any big releases or big transfers out, so someone like Calvin Ramsey or potentially Lewis Ferguson as well, who's got players sniffing around him, if they don't leave, I don't want to be overhauling too much. I'd like to bring in 4 or 5 good players that can help strengthen the team and improve the team rather than the ridiculous amount of players that left and joined in the summer just gone. But speaking of how we are going to recruit, I am considering making a move to a back five system. I feel like something like this might get the most out of the strikers that we've got available, get the most out of the wing backs that we've got. They're very creative, very effective going forward, not so good defensively, so maybe having a back three behind them might help that. I just think a system like this would get the best out of our best players in their best positions, essentially. So we'll try it in pre-season, we'll see how it goes, but I'll keep you up to date on that. There we go. Like I said, a frustrating end to the season, but in hindsight, a really good season. A cup final, Central Champions League football, second in the league. We're definitely on the up. So hopefully you've enjoyed the second season. If you have been able to make any of the streams, let me know down below. So let me know if you've been enjoying the streams as well. I am live pretty much every day at 2 p.m. over on twitch.tv/VikingDan. So if you'd like to see how this all unfolds, come and join me over there. But as always, if you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.